What is up, folks? We are back for episode 15 of Podheads. It's your boy DJ Easy Zeke. Oh man, already starting off, can't even talk. And I'm here with Imani from Imani B Media. This is going to be a great episode because she is like the marketing queen of Charlotte. She helps out all the local businesses and a bunch of different things like that. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but y'all know typically here on Podheads we start from the beginning. So welcome to the show, Imani. I'm so happy you're here.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So like I just said, we typically start at the beginning. So earlier you were telling me you're from Maryland. What was it like growing up in Maryland? What were some things you were interested in? What were your hobbies? Were you into sports or anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland, which many people might know the county. It's like an affluent black area. So I grew up pretty just used to black excellence, like black doctors, black businesses, black professionals. So that was really inspirational for me growing up. I don't think in the back of my head that I knew I would one day be a black business owner, but I think it kind of definitely fueled some of my passion and my fire. When I was growing up, I participated in a lot, but I guess my two biggest hobbies were I danced for about 10 years. I don't have rhythm, but I did. What kind of
dancing was it? Like ballet or?
Yeah, like traditional ballet, tap, jazz. I think when I got to be about 12 or 13, I took a hip hop class, but no chance. Didn't really pay off so well. Yeah. I modeled for a little bit. And then I ran track, which was like the end of my most busy hobby and like the last hobby that I did for a long time.
What events did you do in track?
So I was a distance runner.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I ran, my best race was probably the 800. I was on the 4x800 relay, the open 800, the mile, and the 2 mile if they did not have an alternate. So yeah.
Did you do like the dancing and track throughout high school and middle school, or were those kind of like different times in life?
Yeah, so I had to stop dancing when I started running track because they conflicted a lot, just with like practices and track meets and stuff would be on the same days as dance recitals. So I kind of had to choose which I wanted to do, but I think track for me worked out in the long term just because when I did start looking at schools, I did have some offers for track. I didn't choose them, but I definitely, it's just helped me like even here in Charlotte. I still run. Sometimes I go out with Mad Miles Run Club. And so it's just something that I've been able to keep up and it helps keep me fit and keep moving too.
I gotcha. And being from Maryland, outside of, track and dance and stuff like that, what were some of your the things that the kids did outside of school and hobbies in school and stuff like that? What were some things like for us growing up? Like me and Imani met through our mutual friend Shy, but me and Shy growing up, we were from Lexington, and there wasn't too much to do except go to like Sheets and hang out. If you weren't doing sports, like there just wasn't much. So what were some things in Maryland y'all did?
We did everything, honestly. Like, we're close in proximity to a lot, so we would ride the metro into DC and like go to different museums or explore down there. We like to hang out at the mall for some reason. Like, there's a lot of good malls in the Maryland and DMV area, so we did a lot of that. And then one thing that we really did a lot was a lot of concerts and music. So, being in that area, there's U Street Music Hall, there's Howard Theater, there's like the Capital One Arena now. It wasn't called that back then, but we just went to see music and went to see different artists and stuff that came in town. So we had exposure to a lot being in that area because being so close to DC.
Who were some of your favorite? I'm sure a lot of great artists came through Washington. So what was your favorite concert you went to?
My first concert that I went to when I was in Maryland, I think it was like Mindless Behavior.
Okay, I gotcha.
But a traditional concert that I went to almost yearly when I was in high school and then throughout college, we always did Shy Glizzy.
Nice. I used to love him in high school.
At the Fillmore, that yearly concert, and it's in the peak of summer, so like you saw everybody you knew. Like, that used to be my favorite rapper.
What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2015.
Okay, so we're the same year. Yeah, Shy Glizzy was huge when we were coming up.
Yeah, exactly. So we always saw him, and then Wale had a New Year's concert at the Fillmore, every year. So we would go to that every year.
Awesome. And you said when you were growing up, you had a bunch of like black excellence and kind of inspiration around you.
Yeah.
What did your parents do when you were growing up?
Yeah. So actually, my dad passed away when I was younger, when I was 6.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but it's all good. So my mom remarried. She is still a government worker, so that area is big in like government. She's been working for them for over 35 years, and then My stepdad, he was retired military. He's retired military, but he also worked for the government once he retired.
Did you have any like siblings or anything like that?
So I'm an only child by birth, but I do have 2 step siblings.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you have any other sort of like inspiration and stuff like that when you were growing up? I know you had like, you know, the Black excellence around you, and you said you didn't really plan on becoming like an entrepreneur or a business owner, but was there any like certain person that really inspired you to kind of get to that point?
Yeah, so I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Do you have a sign?
Yeah, we do. But I think a lot of the women in my life and like neighbors, cousins, a lot of different people were members of the sorority, and I would just see like their sisterhood and how they were just always there for each other doing work in the community. They served as a really big inspiration for me. And so that's part of the reason why I decided to pursue membership when I was in college.
Did you want to take, I know you said you had some offers for track to go to college.
Yeah.
Is that something that you were kind of looking to do throughout college, or did you end up going without doing track?
Yeah, honestly, I knew that it was a possibility for track, but I also knew that, like, thankfully my parents had prepared for me to go to school.
Nice.
And so I had some funding and some options where I wasn't limited to only going on a scholarship. And I ended up getting into better schools for my academics versus track. Like, I was okay, but I wasn't getting no D1 offers. I was getting like D2, D3 offers. So yeah, I chose the better school based on academics.
What school did you end up going to?
I went to University of Maryland, College Park for undergrad. Yeah, go Terps.
I was about to say, go Terps.
Yeah, and then for my master's degree, I went to Georgetown University, so go Hoyas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you do 4 years for both of those, or how long did it take for each of those degrees?
Yeah, so my undergrad I did 2 years, and then, my undergrad I did 4 years, and then my grad school I did 2 years.
I gotcha. And did you have any, I know you said you were in that sorority, but were you doing any sort of like, since you're not a track athlete anymore in college, did you have any other kind of hobbies? I mean, I'm sure with the sorority, y'all had a bunch of stuff like going on outside of school.
Yeah, I didn't become a member of the sorority until I was a sophomore. So throughout like my freshman year and then throughout school, I was a part of different organizations, community service organizations, but mainly a lot of organizations.
Sorry, we got some background noise.
Yeah, we got some background noise. It was quiet the whole time, but mainly a lot of organizations that were community service focused, and just focused on like bringing in Black students to the University of Maryland, because as we know, it's a huge like PWI, and so just helping students get comfortable. There's one organization that I was really a part of from my freshman year to my senior year, and there's multiple branches of it. Now, I don't know if they still call it the same thing, but it's the Student Success Leadership Council. And we hosted different events like FreshCon, a Gift of Giving Gala. We just hosted a lot of different things on campus so that people felt welcomed. And so I hosted, I was the president. I did like a lot of different things throughout there.
I gotcha. Got a dog out there barking too. So the sorority, it seems like it had a lot of events and stuff like that to really help bring in, more Black excellence and stuff to the University of Maryland. And that being a PWI and you wanting to kind of pursue an area where you're kind of bringing in more people like that, was that kind of like intimidating when you got to Maryland, or was there already stuff that was kind of going on to help you get your foot in the door? I
mean, there was a lot of organizations already in place, like Black Student Union, or just different things that you could find your place. I think in a huge university like that with 25,000 students, it is very easy to get lost. But I think like various communities, no matter what ethnic or racial background you're from, they stick together. And so it's just up to you to go out and find like who your people are going to be and like stick close knit to them, because you can really kind of evolve and create your own story once you find your folks.
Was your high school predominantly one or the other, like white, Black, or was it a good mix?
So I went to private school most of my life. I went to Bishop McNamara High School. I don't know if anybody is familiar, but we're in the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference, which with like DeMatha, Gonzaga, so like those are big schools in that area. But McNamara is definitely predominantly Black. Like,
I gotcha.
People middle class parents who got some money to send them to private school, but it definitely was a Black school.
Was it sort of a culture shock getting to the University of Maryland, or not too much?
Not really for me, because my parents really they got me traveling early. So like I was always, going to different college tours or going to different countries, just like seeing different people of different backgrounds. Like my passport was like loaded by the time I was 15,
That's awesome.
which is like a blessing. But it wasn't necessarily culture shock for me because I had been around it. And then, just like bring your parents to work day and stuff like that. I saw like my mom and my stepdad, they were working with like all people that didn't look like me. So I knew that was what I was going into. I do think when like racial tensions got high and current events happened on campus, like, when black men are getting killed by the police and different things like that, it does make it a little bit awkward on campus.
And in class and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in class, because you get into debates or conversations and it's like totally different views. Yeah. And it's like you can't argue with people who aren't willing to change their opinions. So it's kind of like you say what you have to say and keep it moving and just pray when you leave class.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And was that something that you wanted to kind of continue to like be advocating for past college?
Yeah, I mean, when the George Floyd stuff happened, I definitely took advantage of my platform online to really like speak out about it, because I think that there is a lot of privilege that people don't acknowledge. And not only just with George Floyd, but like beyond that, everybody's like, oh, Black Lives Matter for a year or two. And then all the campaigns or all the different things in marketing that were important in 2020, now they've like all fallen off. And so even in my current position, like in my 9-to-5, but also in my business, I have unofficially become like a diversity and inclusion like voice, just because I'm always flagging people like, hey, you're trying to appeal to XYZ audience, but you don't have anybody that looks like them or they feel like they can relate to them in this campaign or in this marketing rollout. So it's definitely something that I've tried to continue past that initial run-in with it.
Well, that's awesome of you, honestly. Something that was kind of like you didn't see the bigger picture that you were going to be using your platform to kind of use your voice as well. So
exactly.
That's awesome. So about your business and stuff like that, when you were in college, were you already like planning on doing the marketing and Imani B Media and stuff like that? Was there little baby steps leading up to this, or did this kind of like, what was your major in college?
Yeah, so I majored in public relations, communications, and sociology. So I had the background always, but I never was like, oh, I'm going to be a business owner. Literally not a clue. I mean, I was in different organizations like the Public Relations Association of America or the Undergraduate Communications Association, but it was never my plan to be like, oh, I'm going to start my own social marketing firm. It essentially started in 2020, the peak of COVID. I was working at MGM National Harbor as a communications. Good?
Yeah, we're good. I was just checking the time. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. I was working in communications and marketing at a big casino in Maryland, the MGM National Harbor location, and I got furloughed when like COVID happened. Of course, they closed like all casinos, everything that wasn't essential. So I pretty much was like, okay, well, I'm not making no money. I'm in grad school right now. I need to figure out how to bring some money in. And, I was going to school for digital marketing, and that was my plan to always shift from communications to marketing. You either have to have the work experience or the degree. So I went the degree route just because I knew I had extra resources for funding, with my stepdad being in the military and everything. I had the ability to like get another degree without swimming in debt. So I did that, and pretty much people had started asking me like, oh, can you help me with my business? Or, oh, can you help me market this? Or, oh, can you make this flyer for this?
Were these like friends, or how'd you meet these people that were asking you?
People that I knew, like friends. I started on my personal Instagram. I started going live like every Monday, and I was calling it like Imani's Marketing Minute or something like that.
Awesome. You had a little like quick show that you were doing.
And so people would tap in, and like my first live got like 10,000 views, and I was like, hold up now, wait a minute. And so
10,000?
Yeah, like I still have the live on my phone.
That's crazy.
And I didn't expect it to blow up like that, but everybody was in the house. Everybody was bored. Yeah. I had all this information in my head, and I was like, I need to dump it somewhere. So I was doing that every week, and then people just started asking me for help. So I started, but I was charging people like, oh yeah, I do a flyer for $25, or I charge you like $100. But that wasn't really helping me. But when I got to the point that I had enough money to like get my LLC and different things, then I was like, oh, well, I can actually take this seriously. So At the time, like, I had like a lot of friends and just different people who were supporting me. And like, yeah, you should do it. Like, you should definitely start your own business. And of course I was scared because I didn't know. I didn't grow up around business owners. Like, yeah, I grew up around Black excellence, but like both my parents were either had a 9-to-5 or like in the military and switched to a 9-to-5. So I didn't know like how to start a business, but I just tried it, and it ended up, here I am like 3, almost 4 years later.
When you started that initial live, was that your kind of goal, was to keep going live after that, or were you just doing it kind of just to see what happened?
Yeah, I was really just doing it for vibes, like
just for the vibes.
Yeah,
I do everything just for vibes.
Yeah,
honestly.
like I ended up having a couple people that would like be special guests on the live and like come on that were doing marketing or different forms just to like give them a platform as well. And then I was like, I'm gonna just get my LLC and like see where this goes. And so,
about how long would these live episodes be?
Probably like 30 minutes or so. I would try not to make them too long, but I will have question and answer at the end too, because there was a lot of people in my community who had parents who had businesses, or parents who were doctors, or parents who like didn't know how to market themselves because COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, everything was, oh, we're gonna put a flyer on the wall, or oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. People didn't know about social media marketing, email blasts, like updating your website, like make sure people can really learn and see more about your business online. And that was just really my goal at first, was education, and then the charging and the services just kind of came along naturally.
Do you have any sort of like graphic design background?
No, I try to teach myself.
What kind of flyers were you making?
I was on Canva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I use Canva for my thumbnails for the YouTube videos.
I did take a graphic design class in grad school. I didn't really like grasp any of the information, and then I took web design, and one of my mentors, like one of my big sisters, she has a graphic design business, and she always telling me like, Imani, you need to lock in, you can learn graphic design. I took one of her classes, like she let me take one of her classes for free. I still did not get it. So like graphic design is just not really my forte, but I could do a little something. I was even doing logos for like $75 at one point just to bring some money in.
Yeah. So as far as like the email blast and other marketing strategies that you have, I know you were like a communications and a public relations major. Was there any other sort of classes that kind of taught you those kind of little tips and tricks, or was that kind of all self-taught that you just kind of figured out through trial and error?
I would say like my grad school degree really helped me with a lot. I took like personal branding classes. I took marketing for entrepreneurs. I took like social media analytics. I took all those classes in grad school, and that's what really gave me the confidence to jump and like start it, because I'm like, oh, I got a degree and it's like I got this. And of course some stuff you have to learn as you go and alter it to your audience, but a lot of it was stuff that I learned in grad school, and then I just built upon that.
What kind of guests were you having on those lives that you were doing? Were they like other business owners or people who were doing the same as you, whereas it goes like they want to do marketing, education, and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, it was a mix. Like, they were definitely other business owners, but they were heavily kind of concentrated in the marketing and branding areas, just because it was cool to have different insights and like different perspectives on, we're all doing kind of like the same kind of work. And it's also too, like, everybody can eat. So just because I have this business doesn't mean I'm not going to put other people on, and vice versa. Gatekeeping
is the term they use a lot now.
No gatekeeping.
Well, everybody to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you first hit that live and it was like 10,000 views on that very first one, was that like, how much motivation did that give you to keep going? Were you like super eager to, and you did them, the episodes like a week apart, you said?
Yeah.
Were you super eager for that next one?
Yeah. And honestly, the next one didn't do that good. And I was like, I'm not doing this no more. But like, realistically, I didn't have nothing else to do. Like, I was living at home with my parents at the time. I was furloughed from my job. I was taking my grad school classes, but they were online. So it was, okay, you don't have anything to lose, keep doing it. And even if you don't necessarily get the same amount of views or reach the same amount of people, somebody's listening, somebody's watching, somebody's learning something.
Yeah, being consistent is really key in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Do you think COVID was really the blessing in disguise that you needed to like get that foot or kind of get the ball rolling with starting those lives and starting the business and everything like that? Do you think COVID really helped out, or do you think you were going to do it eventually?
Oh, for sure. COVID definitely helped. I never thought about being a business owner before. Like, I was literally sitting in my room. I have like an office room at my parents' house. Only child, right? You have 2 rooms. But I was sitting in my office room and I'm like, I gotta do something. Like, I can't just sit here and like, I didn't know how long I was gonna be furloughed. Eventually I did go back to work. But at that point I already had like a side hustle and another kind of source of income coming in, so it was cool.
I gotcha. This could be a solid little pausing point. I know you said you got to do some emails and stuff for work, and I got to change these batteries. So we're going to take a quick break, y'all. If I ever get any sponsors, as you know, this will be where the sponsors roll. But yeah, we'll be right back, so stay tuned. All right, folks, welcome back. We just took a small break, changed the batteries, and our workaholic over here had to do a couple things for her little business she's running. So we left off, and Imani was just telling us about how much COVID kind of really just helped her get that motivation she needed to start her own business. She started off with a couple lives, had more viewers on her very first live, up to like 10,000 that she thought she was going to get. And then it kind of went from there. So after you did a couple of these lives and you kind of saw a little bit of that momentum and that people were kind of engaging with your content, what were kind of the next steps to get this business really going?
Yeah, so from there, I mentioned that I kind of saved up to get my LLC. Mm-hmm. And I didn't start the business immediately, though. Like, I wanted to have my website in place. I wanted to have, graphics made for my social media so I could be consistent. I wanted to have headshots and brand shoots. And so it really took a while. Like, I think I started doing the lives in maybe January or February of 2020, and I didn't launch officially until July. But I didn't want to rush it, and I just wanted to make sure it was done correctly. And if people wanted to book with me, no shade to like DM to book, but that just wasn't my swag. So I just wanted to make sure.
You wanted to be like really official.
Yeah, like
if you were going to do it right, you were going all or nothing.
Exactly. Like, my website was set up. People could, do their card payments or PayPal, and a lot of that stuff. People don't talk about it, like setting up your business officially. And I think it's cool to have, to be convenient and meet people where they are. But you also have to think long term about your taxes and how all your money is funneling in. And like, all of that definitely matters. So I just wanted to make sure everything was set up as officially and smoothly as possible for an easier customer experience, but also on my behalf as the business owner.
Did you have any sort of mentor that was kind of helping you out at this point? Or I know you said you had people that were coming on that were doing similar things. Is that kind of like y'all helping each other out? Or was there like one person that was kind of helping you out more than others?
I didn't really have one person. I kind of spoke about this earlier, but support is something that I don't take for granted and like that I have a lot of gratitude for. So there were multiple people, proofreading copy for my website or testing out certain features and letting me know, like, okay, does this let you go all the way through, or what is this message asking you, once you complete a mock payment, or different things. So there wasn't one person. I will say, like, family, friends, parents. Like I said, I had a couple people that I knew had businesses, so I would hit them up and ask them questions. But it was a lot of self-discovery, self-research, but I am not self-made and self-built, and I won't ever say that.
So shout out to all the people that help out. And honestly, like, I'm a somewhat of an entrepreneur myself. I guess starting like a podcast and stuff is essentially owning like sort of a business. I don't have an LLC or anything for anything, but I might not put that in here actually. Probably take that part out. Yeah. But once you were just speaking on like the support, and you don't take it for granted and anything like that. And honestly, once I started something like this, I kind of realized as well, like when I see someone else kind of chasing their dream or starting a business or starting whatever the case is, just supporting them just takes them that much further, motivates them that much more, and it does more for that person than you can ever imagine. So always, always, always support your local businesses, no matter how big or how small or how far into their venture they are. But yeah, that support is huge. Yeah. Just wanted to add that in. But so there wasn't like a specific person that was helping you out. You had a bunch of like people along the way that were kind of helping. Did you have a name at this point for that you were shooting for? Because I know it's Monty B Media now, correct?
Yes. So
has it always been Monty B Media, or was it something different?
Yeah, it's always been Monty B Media. So I spoke a little bit earlier about how I lost my dad when I was younger. And the B, the middle is my middle initial, Brianna, but the B also stands for his first name, which is Brock. And I just feel like, so I always wear his chain. I actually thought I lost this a couple weeks ago, and I just found it last night.
Oh,
so
man.
Like, I think that was him definitely like looking out on my behalf, because I wear, for like good vibes and good luck. But the B is for his first name, Brock, as well. So I knew like I wanted to incorporate that into it because I launched a business on the anniversary of his death date. So, yeah.
What was the most like challenging part in starting this business? I know you were doing the lives, and then you got the LLC, and then you were trying to do the website, and you didn't want to do like anything through DMs or anything like that. What was like the hardest part?
Setting boundaries, but not with other people. Well, with other people, but the main hard thing was setting boundaries with myself, because when you're building something yourself from the ground up, that's like all you're thinking about. And so I was challenged when it came to balancing. Like by the time I launched my business, I was back to work. So going to work every day, then coming home and trying to work on my business and work on client stuff and make sure my stuff is in order, but also make sure that I'm like still helping people on the sides, you know. That balance was really hard for me. And even now, like I have to don't work on Sundays. All my clients know, don't bother me on Sundays, don't text me, don't call me, because I'm not doing nothing on Sundays. But I think when you are pouring into something that you built and you saw like as your brainchild come into fruition, it definitely is where you want to hone and focus a lot of your energy. So just telling myself, like, you can take a month off, you can take some time off. When you go on vacation, you don't have to take your laptop. Like, everybody will be okay, I think has been the biggest challenge since I started to date. I still don't have it all figured out.
With working that 9 to 5 as well, how challenging is that to kind of still find motivation to do your own business after you get off of working, you know, a 35 or 40 hour week?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was going in the office. I was like, this is not sustainable. So after I graduated from Georgetown, I got my second degree, and then I was like, I got to find another job. So I have had a remote job since, which has definitely helped like the balance, because if I want to get up at 6 and lock in on business stuff or client stuff for a few hours before I have to log in at 9, like, or on my lunch break, like, you just get to kind of fit stuff in throughout the day versus I'm sitting at somebody else's desk all day and I don't want them seeing what's on my browser.
Yeah.
I mean, it does get hard at times, but I've just kind of made up in my head, like, grind now, enjoy it later. So you got to do what you got to do.
When did you finally, I mean, I know you, how many lives did you do before you finally were like, all right, this is something that I am going to start doing, and it's my passion for real? Or was it that first one? Because I know you said that first one just had so many views.
Let me actually look, because I don't know the exact number, but I know that it wasn't that many.
And what were you calling these lives at the time?
I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Because I have no clue.
This was 2019?
2020. The beginning of 2020. Okay, yeah, like, here's the Monty's Marketing Mondays. Like, that's what they were.
That's dope.
So
is that Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like old Instagram though.
Okay.
So this is before. This is on my personal page. This is before, but I think I did 3 on this page, and then let me go back to Monty B Media. I did 3 on my personal page before I started the business page, like trying to start funneling people to that page.
Yeah.
And then I did, did I save my lives on here? I don't think I saved them, but I would say, if I had to guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between like 7 to 10. It wasn't that many.
So about 7 to 10 in, you kind of were like, all right, it's all hands on decks for Imani B Media.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was the initial like response you got from when you were trying to get people to funnel them to your business page and they saw you were starting to take this serious? Were people automatically kind of taking you serious, or did it kind of be like, no, or you had to like kind of convince them like, no, this is actually like what I'm doing?
No, I think people took me seriously. I think I had like, I don't remember the exact number. I don't have that many followers now, but majority of my followers I got within like the first month of my business. So I think I had like 200-300 followers by like the end of the second week. And now building since then, I haven't been as consistent as I'm supposed to be because, you know, I'm working on my client stuff. Yeah. But I think people took me seriously just because my background, like growing up, I was always, you know, in different programs, on honor roll, like doing, just very involved. So I don't think people thought I was messing around.
I got you. Yeah. They knew you were business from the get-go.
Yeah, they knew I was standing on business.
Standing on business. That's great. Drewski would be very proud that we use that term.
Yeah.
So what was it like trying to find that work-life balance? I know you said it was kind of difficult to, you know, tell yourself that Sunday is my day. I'm taking that off. No clients should hit me up.
Yeah.
Because it is your business. And me personally, I always tell myself I need at least one day like that. And I always choose Sunday because Sunday, is just a great day to chill.
Right.
But I still find myself on Sundays. Like even last night, I was editing this vlog from the wedding I did this past weekend. It's just kind of like sitting in the back of my head like, man, I could just get a little bit of a jump start.
Right.
How hard was it to kind of set those boundaries for yourself and, have work in one lane and life in the other?
I mean, the reason that I started a separate Instagram to begin with is because I was like, I don't want y'all hitting me up on my personal Instagram. Like, these are my business hours. These are where you can contact me.
Yeah.
If I don't respond in this XYZ amount of time, you got to wait till Monday. But it's been hard. Like, I've started it and I've been successful for maybe a month. Then I fall back into like, oh, I could, just like you said, I could get ahead or I could do a little bit of something here and there. I think most recently, like probably the past 8 weeks, I've been doing really good with like no work on Sundays. I don't care, no work on Sundays. I literally went to Europe in August and I took my laptop and I was doing work in Europe. Like, and I was like, that's where I have to draw the line because like you pay all this money to go on this trip and girl, why are you working?
Yeah.
Like have fun, vibe out. So
How long was that trip for?
a week. So I didn't work every day, but like a couple days I'm sitting by the pool like, oh, I could get, I'm just sitting by the pool. Like, let me whip out this laptop. And it's like, it shouldn't have to be like that.
It's the principle of you shouldn't have to feel like you need to work.
Exactly.
That's that workaholic mentality though, man. You sometimes just can't take it out of that person.
Yeah, but I'm 25. So like, I'm not at that point in my life. So
just kind of setting yourself up to be like an individual.
Yeah.
So what's the next step though for Imani B Media? Do you just want to keep growing until the sky's the limit, or do you have any other plans with it, or what's going on next?
Yeah, so honestly around this time last year I went ghost. Like I stopped offering services, like I stopped posting because I really needed to sit back and figure out what do I want to do. When I moved to Charlotte, my business tanked. I'll be completely transparent about that. It was a new environment. It was a new place. I didn't really know anybody. All of my clients were still in Maryland. So I really focused and sat down like, okay, what can I do to plus up my business? So what I've been working on this year is diversifying my offerings. So in addition to social media management, branding development, website development, all of that, I started offering virtual assistant services, which really allowed me to kind of, number one, it allows you to charge more because people see like a whole package, but it also allows you to tap into other skills that might have been valuable that you didn't think about before. Being somebody's assistant is very humbling. Yeah. But a lot of people are not humble enough to say, oh, I can send an email or I can book your flight for you. But it's like, if you're already organized and can do that, why not?
Get paid for it.
Yeah. So I really just been, I guess what's next, that was a long-winded, robbing round way to say I'm just focusing on continuing to diversify my options and figure out what I want my specialty to be. When I first started, I was doing anything. Like I told you, I was making logos and I don't have no graphic design. So really just figuring out what's that 1 and 2 things I want to lock in on and like focusing on that.
And what was it like, that transition from Maryland kind of market to the Charlotte market? Was it like similar? I know you got to build up clientele once you move to a different city, but was it kind of the similar like workload though, as far as that goes, or what?
No, like I didn't have any clients when I first moved here. I didn't get any clients here until probably top of this year. And those didn't even last. But I think because of the model of my business and the services that I offer, the thing about social media is everybody thinks they can do it themselves. Yeah. Which is true to an extent, but I don't think that people see the value in it, which is why I decided to branch out into like offering more packages with like virtual assistant and stuff like that to show people more of the value. I'll be honest, a lot of my clients are still in Maryland, but I have done some work here with beauty providers like hairstylists, makeup artists, foundations, trainers. Is it the same
kind of like clientele that's reaching out in Charlotte that was reaching out in Maryland? Is it kind of similar, or do you see kind of a different business?
It's definitely different. Like in Maryland, and then I have some clients in Atlanta. I've had some in New York. Those people are more, I would say, more like creative based, less corporate, whereas here in Charlotte there's been a lot more like service based businesses.
Gotcha. Yeah. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, and I haven't figured that out either.
I could see New York being like, I mean, Atlanta, it kind of makes sense because New York and Atlanta, honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of New York is models and fashion. So
Yeah.
I could see the creatives coming out of there. And then with Atlanta, I just think of like
Everybody's
music.
doing everything. Yeah.
But so it's more of like a corporate base though here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And do you have like one that you like doing more or of the other, like creatives versus corporate, or it doesn't matter to you?
I'm not really picky. I thought about honing in and saying, oh, I'm only going to serve these type of people or these type of people, but I think that would limit myself. So my overarching goal is to truly just help business owners of color learn more and have resources, because part of the reason that I started my business outside of being in COVID and like trying to figure out something to do with my time was that I saw so many businesses and business owners and entrepreneurs struggling because they didn't know how to market themselves digitally. And so I just want to be a resource for people that don't feel like they have resources. So that's why my price points are not as high as, most people, or, I offer a little bit more, give a little bit more free game, because to me it's way bigger than like the check that you're getting.
Yeah, for sure. And so with these businesses, when they do reach out, like, is it like an email, or I know you said you have a website they got to book you through. What's that website called?
Yeah, so it's www.monibmedia.com, and essentially you can reach out via contact page. The first step is to book a consultation, just to make sure we're a good fit. Like we have a conversation and we talk about, what are your goals for your brand? What are some inspiration people that you have on or off social media? Where do you want to see your brand? What are you doing well now? What do you feel like you're not doing well? How did you find me? Where can I help you? Just really figuring out how we can dance together, because if that consultation doesn't even go right,
it's probably not going to work out.
It's curtains. Yeah. And I think a lot of people just jump into, oh, I'm going to let this person book me for a website. You ain't had a conversation with the person. You don't even know what their vision is or what they're looking for. Then you finish the website and they're like, oh, I don't like this. I want my money back.
Have you had that happen before?
Oh, absolutely.
How humbling is that? Or I won't even say humbling. It's just more of a learning experience.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, for me, it wasn't too humbling. I can tell, though, like, based on the type of person that you talk to, you can tell when people know what they want and they don't.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't surprised. I mean, obviously I was annoyed because I spent all that time building a website and that you didn't give me any direction for, but then when it's done, you don't like it. So that was a little bit frustrating, but I think it just all comes with the territory.
Do you feel like I would assume it's kind of the same process with the exception of little things, but when you first started, do you feel like you're like light years ahead of where you were as far as like how long it takes you to do stuff and obviously the knowledge that you have, or does it kind of still take about the same time to go through most things? And like what kind of, I know it differs from business to business, but what's like the typical length of like a project for you?
Yeah, so I would say that is definitely different. I went from doing like one-off projects. So my most popular package was called a brand development package. And when people started, I would give them a one-pager about their business. I would give them color codes. I would do like highlight covers, just little mock-ups for their feed, and just give them a SWOT analysis. That would probably take me a couple days when I first started. I don't do those as much now because I've tried to move to more contract-based social media management and stuff. But I will say, like, when it comes to designing assets and just branding stuff for people's social media, I can do that in like 20 minutes versus
Gotcha.
It used to take me an hour and a half because I didn't really know what the vision was. So I think it's easier for me to conceptualize a vision now.
What about like a website? How long does that take to kind of design? I guess it depends on what the brand wants too at the same time.
Websites used to take me, I would tell people 3 weeks and I needed the whole 3 weeks. Now I'll tell people 3 weeks and I can probably do it in 2 days, but I give myself 3 weeks just to like give myself some wiggle room.
Is there a lot of like checking over? Because when I'm doing these videos, man, I'll probably watch these videos like 3 or 4 times before I even want to upload it. And then even when I upload it, I'll watch it later on and I'm like, dang, I could have changed this. Is there always stuff after you even get done that you like, oh, I could have done this a little bit better, or vice versa? For sure, but there's always, my clients pretty much, I tell people up front, like, you can give me as much or as little information as you want. My clients normally give me, I don't even want to tell you what type of stuff people give me, but like credit card information, like all types of stuff, because they trust me to do right by them. So if there's anything that I was like, oh, I could have done that better, or I want to go in and change this, I already have the login, the access and stuff to just go in
and get that stuff done. And then I also do a review and feedback process before I give people the final product, just so they have the time to say like, hey, can we tweak this? Can we change this? I don't like that as much, just having that conversation, because a lot of people will make a product for you or make something for you or manage your stuff and like it's their way or the highway, and that shouldn't be how it goes. Because as much as I want you to show up and look well on social media or your website to look well, I know you want to show up in a certain way too.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell me about your voice more than I can tell you about your voice.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you ever feel like feel like you're going to be bringing in like a helper or like an employee or anything like that as far as your business goes, or it'll only be Imani?
My mom jokes around and says that when she retires, she's going to work for me. I mean, we'll see. Like, to this point, I have been a little bit nervous about bringing somebody on or hiring an intern, because
you got to trust people a lot.
Yeah, you do have to have a lot of trust. And it's not that I don't trust people, but it's more so releasing or relinquishing control and them doing the work to the same quality that I would do it. Mm-hmm. Everything ties back to my name. So yeah. I don't want somebody, and obviously I would look it over, but I think I would probably start low scale, like maybe. But even I hate that. Like, people will be, unpaid internships for college kids. Like, college kids need money. So
yeah, for sure.
I really got to figure out what the structure would look like. I mean, it's definitely crossed my mind, but not anytime soon.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, is there anybody that you want to shout out, or any other businesses or anything that you got coming up in the future you need to shout out? Or I know we said the website, and that's www.monibmedia.com.
Yes.
We'll put that in the description as well.
Yeah, and then the Instagram is at MoniBmedia. Like I said, I'm Imani. Mm-hmm. The I is pronounced the E. So yeah, I don't really have any businesses or anything else to shout out that's coming up, but I will say, like, check me out if you're looking for social media or any type of branding-based services. We can have a conversation. If not, even if you just want to lock in and learn some things, I drop, like, weekly, terms or just ways to get ahead in the market. So, yeah, shout out everybody who has supported me and poured into my business thus far.
Yeah.
It's way too many people to name, so I don't want to start naming people and forgetting people, but anybody who has booked a call with me, donated. I used to do like coat drives and stuff, just done anything. So I really appreciate all the support.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on to episode 15 of Podheads. I really look forward to editing and listening to this again. I'm really excited for everyone to hear. Like Monty said, if y'all have any sort of business that you're working on, y'all can always hit her up. And I'm going to have all of her social media links and her website link in the description, so y'all can go and click that and give her a follow. But if there's nothing else that needs to be said, I guess that will conclude our episode. Thank you, Monty, once again.
Thank you.
But yeah, y'all stay blessed, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a good one. Peace.